to winning isn't easy. Proving medical necessity for the use of an assistive device in your ERISA disability claim. Let's dig into what it takes to prove that your assistive device isn't just something that you happen to use but rather it's something you must use because of your medical condition. Now, disability carriers and plans are skeptical by nature. They're not going to take your word for it. In fact, even if you walk into the doctor's office with a cane, if your doctor doesn't put in the notes that they've prescribed it, the carrier is going to ignore it. They're going to pretend it doesn't exist. That's why proving medical necessity is crucial. I think there are 5 core things that carriers want to see in your records, and they all combine to work together. First, there needs to be a medical evaluation from your physician that explains your underlying condition. So let's say it's a multiple sclerosis or a failed knee replacement or arthritis. The doctor needs to say, okay, here's the underlying medical condition. This is why they require the device. And as part of that, number 2, they need objective medical evidence. So the carrier wants to see test results, X-rays, MRIs, EMGs, nerve conduction study tests that not only document your diagnosis, but back up your functional complaints. So if your records show that there's measurable weakness on exam, balance issues, loss of dexterity, that can create a clear link between your diagnosis and the need for the device, particularly if it's supported by objective medical evidence. Thirdly, there has to be a prescription. Without one, the carriers are often claim your device is voluntary or optional. That's why it's not enough for a nurse to suggest a brace or for you to buy a walker on your own. The record has to include a formal prescription or recommendation. And number 4, your record should establish your functional limitations without the device and with the device. So, for example, if you use a cane for short distances, but you can't walk through a grocery store without it, that detail would matter. If you rely on wrist brace to type for only 15 minutes at a time, that can matter because if you have to take the wrist brace off, you probably aren't able to type very long in that instance. So carriers want to know not only that you need the device, but how it translates into restrictions in your daily activities and work capacity and what those restrictions would look like with the use of the device. And lastly, the carrier is going to look at your treatment history. So consistency is really key. If you report numbness, weakness, or balance problems at every visit, and your doctor notes your reliance on the device, that reinforces your credibility. But on the other hand, if you use the device daily but never mention it to your doctor, the insurance carrier or plan may argue that it's really unnecessary. It's a convenience. The difference between using a cane that strengthens your claim or a cane that doesn't really comes down to the paper trail. And it doesn't matter what the assistive device is. Every diagnosis should have an objective basis. The restrictions and limitations should have an objective basis. The doctor's notes prescribing the device needs to be there. Information about how that device impacts your ability to function also needs to be there. And in my view, the failure to have that type of documentation can make or break a claim that you need to have an assistive device that precludes your ability to do your own occupation or any occupation. Got it? Let's take a break.
Are you a professional with questions about your individual disability policy? You need the Disability Insurance Claim Survival Guide for Professionals. This book gives you a comprehensive understanding of your disability policy, with tips and to-dos that will assist you in submitting a winning disability application. This is one you don't want to miss. For the next 24 hours, we're giving away free copies of the Disability Insurance Claim Survival Guide for Professionals. Order yours today at disabilityclaimsforprofessionals.com.